The SAT has gone digital, and if you want to be well prepared for the digital SAT, you've got to first understand what you're up against. That's why in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the new format of the SAT and giving you some excellent tips to crush this new format of the exam. Ready? Let's dive in. Hey, if you're ready to embark on the exciting journey of studying abroad in the United States as an international student, I've got a special gift for you. Make sure you're fully prepared by downloading our free ebook, The International Student's Guide to Studying in the United States. Inside, you will find a comprehensive roadmap detailing everything you need to know to succeed. So don't miss out. Click the link in the description section below to download your free copy now. Before we dive into the big changes, let's have a quick snapshot of what remains unchanged. The digital SAT continues to measure core critical thinking skills across the same three sectors, which are reading, writing, and math. Subject areas tested remain largely unchanged. So as an example, in the math section, you will be tested on the same concepts like geometry, polynomials, etc. And as you would hope, the SAT scoring scale with a total score between 400 to 1600 will remain the same. This ensures a seamless transition for colleges using digital SAT scores for admissions purposes. Now let's discuss what's different, highlighting the biggest changes. The digital SAT now combines the reading section and the writing section in the paper-based SAT into one section. Unsurprisingly, this section is called the reading and writing section. The section consists of two subsections or modules and is two-stage adaptive, meaning the questions you get in the second module will be based on your performance in the first module. So here's an example of how this works. Say you perform well on the first module, the second module will have questions that are more challenging, but you will be rewarded with more points if you get these questions right. And on the flip side, if you perform poorly on the first module, the second module will be less challenging and will carry less weight towards your score when you get them right. The reading and writing section will have a total of 54 questions split equally between the two modules. Now that's a reduction of 42 whopping questions when compared to the paper-based version of the SAT. As for the time allocation, test takers will have 32 minutes to complete the first module and 32 minutes to complete the second module. So when you do the math, you will have about 71 seconds to attempt each question in the entire reading and writing section, which is slightly higher than the amount of time you had to answer each question in the reading and writing sections of the paper-based SAT. But there is a new twist to the reading and writing section, and that's the removal of long reading passages that have multiple related questions that the SAT was notorious for. What you get now are really short passages with no more than 180 words that are related to just one question in the reading and writing section. Let's now switch gears and talk about the math section. The digital SAT combines the math test no calculator section and the math test calculator section of the paper-based SAT into one section. And you're in luck because this combined math section allows you to use a calculator all through. It even has a cool on-screen graphing calculator. And just like the reading and writing section, the math section is also two-stage adaptive. Now the math section will have a total of 44 questions split equally between the two modules, which is a reduction of 14 questions when compared to the paper-based SAT math sections. But what's really nice is that while the total number of math questions has been reduced considerably, the total time to complete this new section was only reduced from 75 minutes to 70 minutes, which gives you about 95 seconds to attempt each math question on both of these modules. That's 17 more seconds to answer each math section compared to the paper-based SAT math. Unlike the paper-based SAT, where you will find a set of math questions that are related to a given piece of information, all the questions in the digital SAT math are discrete or unrelated. About 75% of the questions are in the format of 4-option multiple choice questions, while the remaining 25% of the questions will require you to type in your answer, which is a digital version of the graded answer questions on the previous paper-based SAT. Now let's talk about the duration and sequence. As you can tell by now, the digital SAT is no longer an almost 3-hour marathon that it used to be. Thanks to the removal of 56 questions, the test is now streamlined to just a tad over 2 hours with a very predictable sequence as follows. The test will begin with the first module of the reading and writing section, which is immediately followed by the second module, for a total duration of 64 minutes. Once the reading and writing section is concluded, a 10-minute break will be given, which is then followed by the two modules of the math section to be completed in 70 minutes. Now it is important to point out that while you're allowed to move back and forth within each of the 4 modules in this test, changing your answers as you wish, once a module is completed, you will no longer have access to that module. It is also interesting to point out that a total of 8 questions in the digital SAT, 4 in the reading and writing section, and 4 in the math section do not count towards your score. These are experimental questions that help the College Board design future SAT exam questions. But the problem is you will never be able to tell while taking the exam because these experimental questions are not identifiable. So how should you prepare for this new SAT exam? The first thing is to immerse yourself in the digital digital SAT testing environment by utilizing Bluebook, which is a free application that the College Board designed to prepare students for the digital SAT. Next, you'll want to take a full-length digital SAT practice test using official SAT material. This is the most effective way to gauge your starting point early on in your SAT prep. And how far off you are from your target SAT score will determine how rigorous your prep will need to be. Once you've completed this diagnostic test, the next course of action will be to identify the areas on the digital SAT where you're strong and the areas where you need improvement. This is where working with the right SAT prep resources such as books, online courses, or private tutoring sessions will become very important. And to help you find the best SAT prep resources, you can watch our in-depth reviews on the best SAT courses and private tutoring companies on the market. So watch this video here, also linked in the description section below, to find the digital SAT resource that can help you achieve your target score.